I'm Maggie Williams, Content Director of REBA, and I'm here today with Sir Hector Sants, Chair of the Money and Pension Service. So welcome, Sir Hector. Thank you for joining us today. So as a relatively new organisation in its current form, what are the priorities of the Money and Pension Service?
Well, the Money and Pension Service, which we term as MaPS, was, as you rightly point out, very recently launched. It was only launched at the beginning of this month, in fact, April. So it's very early days. And in fact, what we're proposing to do for the next 6 months is to get out and about around the country and talk with all possible partners, stakeholders, all interested parties, to get everybody's views. And then in the autumn, we will publish a formal 3-year business plan for MaPS alongside a new national strategy for the country in relation to financial capability. So in that sense, our priorities have yet to be fully determined. We do want to hear people's views. Having said that, I think we go into that listening phase with some ideas. For a start, of course, we do know what our parliamentary mandate is, and I think you would summarise our parliamentary mandate by saying that our vision is one of a society where everyone makes the most of their money and pensions. So that's the vision we're working towards, and our priorities have to be aligned with that vision.
Sure. And what are you seeing as being some of the priorities that employees have as financial consumers?
Well, I think this goes to a theme that we would like to develop as part of the MaPS objectives as well. We would like to see financial well-being as a topic, as an issue, become a national priority, to be something which society considers of as important as mental health, physical health. I want to raise the profile of financial well-being. So I think from an employer's point of view, the first point is to take on board the importance of financial well-being to the general well-being of their employees. So helping promote financial well-being with your employees is good for the company and good from the employees, and I think should be very much part of corporate purpose. And that's the sort of central point. And actually, I do sense that that is being taken on board already, which is no doubt why we're having the event today, that there is that growing realization that looking after financial well-being should be at the heart of concern for personal well-being, and that they're inextricably linked. In terms of the details, I think what we want is people to think about, obviously, how do you equip the individual to be empowered and confident when they're dealing with their money matters. We want employers to think about how can they help change the relationship between their employees and money. There's a lot of shame and there's a lot of inhibitions around when people think about money, lack of willingness to talk about it, lack of willingness maybe to think about it. So thinking about how can they encourage their employees to change their relationship to money, change their behavioural attitudes to money, I think is very important. And then linked to that, of course, is giving them access and support around the specific challenges that people face. And particularly in that space, you'd think about long-term savings, so pensions and retirement, but also, as we know, really important to build up that short-term tactical buffer, that resilience buffer. Quarter of the people in this country, adults in this country, don't even have £100 of savings, and that makes a huge difference to their personal well-being. If we could just get them to save that little bit, it would really transform their lives. So it's partly around the relationship with money, and it's partly around practical help, and particularly in relation to savings, budgeting, retirement.
And I know you're still at an early stage at the moment in understanding the sort of priorities, but is there anything you can share, any insights into
well,
how
I think
that
we already
know.
We know what Parliament would like us to do in respect of one or two key issues, and in respect of delivering on that vision of everyone making the most of their money and pensions. You can see what some of the key ingredients would be. I think the first point to make is there's been a lot of good work done in this field. Our predecessor organisations, including the Money Advice Service, did a huge amount of research, and there's been a lot of engagement on the pension issue through Pension Wise and TPAS. So we know a lot. But I think what's really important in the next stage is we turn that knowledge into action. So our focus is being on action-oriented adaptation and to really deliver some structural change in the nation's financial capability. And I think you can think immediately of two areas of focus. So the first is on financial capability, which requires obviously a significant increase in the effort directed towards financial education. We still have probably nearly more than half of the young people leaving education are not comfortable with managing money, and we'd like to address that. So a real focus on financial education. Then the second part, which does come out of the Act, is a focus on those who have already encountered problems, the vulnerable who are already encountering problems with money, of which the two most obvious areas, of course, are problem debt, where we would like to see a big increase in the free debt advice capacity in the country, which is normally delivered to volunteer organisations. And secondly, we'd like to see more capacity in the money guidance area, where people are facing particular issues such as pensions. And the government has tasked us in that context with developing the pension dashboard, which would be a major step forward in terms of empowering individuals to take responsibility for their own money affairs. And I think that sort of theme maybe takes me back to kind of my opening remarks, which is at the end of the day, we want to see financial well-being up the nation's priority, and we want to see everybody empowered and confident in the way they deal with their money affairs.